203B for a second on the property in which to fix up the property. Number 4, if you don't want to know anything about the property, you want to talk to the sellers, I can arrange a video conference with my sellers at any time for you, or a phone conference at any time. Also, please find a copy of your closing statement. This is the first document your accountant will soon be asking for. I'd like to be helping your accountant explain all the terms on that. Best case is it's in a file somewhere. Worst case is you've lost it all together. It's my goal to become an asset and a resource to your real estate making decisions, and I hope to call you at least twice a year to make sure that all your real estate agents need, all your real estate needs are met. Sincerely, Walter Sanford. Now, if that agent from Remax never calls that client again, who owns that person now? I do, man. Okay? All systems, all automatic, easy to do. Now, we got a database going. First step is I got to contact it now. Some of you guys are falling down on the job on contacting stuff. So what's the best way to contact? How do you guys do it? Do you send them eggnog recipes during Christmas? How to get grass stains out of jeans? Email newsletters. Email newsletters, something that you think they read? Guarantee they don't anymore. How many emails are they having are going into their spam box a day? I have 200 to 400 a day. Do I have time to read any more of your newsletters? So here's what's working, guys. Look, I've been on the cutting edge of technology ever since this stuff comes out. But some stuff just doesn't return any return on it. It's easy to do. So here's what I do. I send them every one of my listings by email before they hit the MLS. It's part of my double-end transaction system, guys. We'll have a break here in about 10 minutes. You know what that means? That means that I want to sell my listings myself. Is that okay to do? Want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so how do I increase my odds every time I take a listing of selling it myself? How do I do that? How do I increase the odds and still live within all the rules? Mr. Kettler, how much time do I have before I have to put the property into the MLS?
72 hours.
72 hours. Is there a form at the MLS I can get an extension on that?
The seller signs it, even though you never have to put it in the MLS.
If the seller signs it, I never have to put it in the MLS. But Walter, that's not in the best interest of your seller. Oh, maybe I've heard that before. Gee, Mr. Johnson, I've got to tell you something I do that's kind of unique. I find that selling a property that hasn't hit the MLS yet causes more activity. I'm wondering if for 5 days I can promote your property as a secret property to my database. You sure it's not in my client's best interest? So now, the minute I take that listing, I have an email going out to 300 people in my database that says secret property. See it before it hits the MLS. 5 or 6 lines about this property. Now, what is somebody that gets a secret property MLS or email? What do they do with that? Sometimes they actually print it and take it to work because they know that their supervisor's looking for a new house and they want to be a hero and give them something that hasn't hit the MLS yet. You okay with this concept, guys? Okay. So I'm sending my database every brand new listing I get before it hits the MLS. So that's often. So because you guys are going to be taking a listing or 2 a week now with some of these systems. Okay? Especially after you get through the webinars. What else do I do to contact my database? I send them a letter every quarter. Is that okay? A low-tech, inside date, inside address, Dear Frank and Mary letter. Okay? I write a new one every quarter. I divide it up so it takes me a whole quarter to get to my whole 300. That means I'm only sending out 2 or 3 or 4 letters a day. Can everybody send out 2 or 3 or 4 letters a day? Yeah. And since I only have 2 or 3 or 4 letters a day going out, what can I do in the upper right-hand corner? How's Skip the dog? How was the wedding last summer? Sold a house right down the street from me. Did you see it? You with me on this stuff, guys? A little more high touch, please. And then, what every top agent neglects to do, but when they do it, it changes their life. They call their database twice a year. How do you guys call your database twice a year? Are you going to wait until the last week of the first 6 months and call your whole 300 people? Because what will happen? What will you do? Come on, be honest with me. What will you do? You'll blow it off, won't you? Because too much work. I'll get that next 6 months. You never do it then either. Are there some people in here that have never called their past client database? Are there? Can I make a suggestion? Call them this year. Hi, Mr. Johnson, this is Walter. Yes, yeah, I was that guy that sold you the house 11 years ago. I want to tell you I apologize for not being in touch. I have spent the last 11 years building my business, and somebody I've neglected are some of my past clients. I'm going to change that. I'd like to go ahead and send you some updates on the market. I'd like to give you all my secret property before it hits the MLS. I'd like to go ahead and call you twice a year and give you special opportunities and give you first chance and first-hand knowledge of what's happening in this market. Would that be helpful to you, Mr. Johnson? Fantastic. You know, I can also go ahead and send you all the new properties that get listed that are comparable to your home, so you always have an update and a very cognizant idea of what your value is. Well, these are just some of the services I can do for you, Mr. Johnson. Have I earned the right to give you a call now every so often? Super, thank you. I'd like to go ahead and I'd like to renew our relationship. Guys, some of you guys are going to have to eat the bullet and actually do that. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be telling you this stuff because I'm making any money doing it. I'm telling you stuff because there's 10 things you do in this business that make you the most money. And you know there's that 80-20 or that 90-10 rule, right? I do the stuff, the 20% of the stuff that makes me 80 or 90% of my money. Yes? That's what we're talking about here today. You do anything else, like spend an hour and a half on Facebook, you're going to get your butt handed to you. It's not where the money's at. Okay. All right, so here's the deal. How do I make those phone calls? I've got 300 people in my past client. There happens to be, how many working days are there in a year? About 300. So 300 into 300 means I have to make one phone call a day. When do I time block it? 2 o'clock. Why will it be more than one phone call? Because I'm going to try 3 times before I give up. Is that okay? That means so I have one phone call from the 3 days before. Yesterday I talked to him, but the day before yesterday I didn't talk to him. So I've got 4 phone calls to make at 2 o'clock. Is that okay? You see how this time blocking thing works, guys? Somebody wants to list their home at 2 o'clock and I can't get them to move. I'm going to go ahead and list that house, but that means at 3:30 I'm going to make those 3 or 4 phone calls. Do you have enough energy to talk to 3 or 4 people at 2 o'clock? Okay. What's your script when you call them? Everything's systemized, guys. 4 goals. Hi, Mr. Johnson, just calling for my biannual check-in. This market requires a substantial amount of pre-planning. I want to know if you have any plans to buy or sell real estate in the next 24 months. First goal. How about family, friends, co-workers? Anybody you can think of that I can call and find out if I can help them? Goal 2. This is goal 3 now. Have you ever considered real estate as an investment? You realize that Illinois is one of the last places in the United States where you can actually buy a property with a small down payment and still, after the expenses of a rental, still actually break even and get the tenants to pay off your mortgage for you. And number 4, just want to make sure that I have your email address. You guys with me on these things, guys? 3 or 4 phone calls a day. That means if you haven't done it for 11 or 8 or 12 years, it's time to start. You're talking about just that item increasing your net by 30 to 35% if you haven't done it before. It's not that hard. 4 goals, easy script. 4 letters a year. Send them your secret listings by email. Hopefully you're going to have email addresses. How about all the people that own real estate in Oswego that get their tax bills sent out of the state of Illinois? Would that be a good group of people? You find all the people in the tax bills that get their tax bills sent out of Illinois but own real estate in Oswego. Title company can help you with that. Lisa, my wife, says to me, I'm doing just fine without your help. Okay, but Lisa, you're 42 years old and you want kids and you've been working your rear off and haven't had kids and I want kids. Why don't we become more efficient with your business so you can still stay in your business and bring up 2 little daughters? It's a tragedy because the doctor said, Walter, you've waited too long to have children, you beat yourself up and so has your wife. But he was wrong. So we now currently have a little 6 and 8-year-old. So how do you become one of the top agents in Illinois and still raise a 6 and 8-year-old?